Good afternoon, everyone. Indian farmers blocking roads and railways, price protests. Romanian farmers can't deliver, but the EU says you have to deliver anyway. Soft wheat exports out of Europe down 30% from last year. Unprecedented spring snow and record cold hits Australia. Sydney Morning Herald deflecting coldest in 20 years, but ABC News coldest September day in 50 years. Disconnect in the news. But a full connect across both hemispheres, record out-of-season snows, and a glimpse at rainfall through southern Germany, crop zones heading into grand solar minimums with increased precipitation. And just a quick word from this video's sponsor. You know, if you'd worked for a company for years before COVID came along and they let you go, you may have left some treasure behind. Your old 401k or IRA could be worth thousands, and it's still working for your old firm, not you. So if you're a bit uncertain about what the future holds right now, and how you can convert your old 401k or IRA into a gold or precious metals-backed IRA, it's worth jumping on the phone and calling the team at Noble Gold. 877-646-5347, and the link's in the description box below. Coming across a barrage of headlines, Indian farmers block roads and railways over this new farm bill. And wherever we look across the planet, there's definitely a consolidation of control of food going on. So this is one of the most important stories that you're going to see, being such a populous nation. And it turns out that the government is now stopping buying grains at guaranteed prices. And what they want to do is leave all that purchasing out to mega corporations to deal directly with the farmers without any intermediaries, which is rife for non-payment, price gouging, and an enormous amount of other nasties in the agribusiness. Because the Modi government wants to allow farmers to sell to institutional buyers, such as Walmart, directly. Oh, that's going to work real well. How do you think they're going to be treated as an individual Indian farmer, as a multinational corporation coming in to buy? They already understand what's about to happen. They're willing to lose it all versus having it all stolen, because they understand that 85% of India's farmers who own less than 5 acres of land are going to be vulnerable to these mega corporations coming in and buying, private buyers. Now, since India runs an enormous amount of commerce and movement of peoples across railways, blocking the railways is the best way to send a very clear message: you gotta reverse the policies. But you just have to wonder how much rail traffic there is now compared to prior to the virus time. But it'll still be a massive, gigantically huge interruption, and you can see the scale of the railroad tracks being blocked. Imagine if all the highways in the United States had this same thing occur. There would be some swift reversals for sure. But it's about the consolidation of food, and everywhere you look, it's either giant corporations or giant global government bodies telling countries or farmers how they have to give food into the new supply chain. Well, the effects of this massive drought going on in Romania is forcing them to declare force majeure. They're not going to be able to deliver. They shouldn't be liable. They can't even grow it to export it or deliver it into the system itself. But in straight up EU fashion, the very reason why agri-commodities supply chain was so efficient is because we forced, under duress, everybody to give into the central system. Every actor respected their commitments. It's very disruptive for a country, national authority, to create legal uncertainty. If you can't grow the food, that's not a legal uncertainty. That's called Mother Nature. But again, as we see through history, the people are going to starve as counties, towns, villages, countries are forced to send their food outbound. We've seen it through history for what? The last 3,000 years? Why would it be any different this time? And taking a good look at the charts here of Aura, soft wheat exports, dark green line above is 2019-20, and that line that is 30+% below last year's export levels is 2021. If it's such a bumper crop, as the world's media will tell you, don't worry about the food, it's a bumper crop. Why is it so low on the exports? because the massive amounts of near biblical rainfalls across Western Europe and a drought in Eastern Europe. From Willi Soon and Sebastian Luning out of Germany. Epic chart here showing total solar irradiance with carbon-14 and the amount of rainfall. I linked that report in the description box below. Going to wide that out for you here so you can see it a little better. The seasonal flooding frequency there, we're starting from the far side around 1550, which was coming out of the Wolf minimum, getting into more stable growing conditions in that white. The green lines are the grand solar minimums, but the white is after you exited out or entry into a grand solar minimum. The higher the line on the carbon-14, the lower the solar activity, and the seasonal flood layers as well, differentiated by spring or summer flood levels. Isn't it interesting in southern Germany that you see when you're coming into very low solar activity, the rainfall increases? Now we're starting to see these massive floods across Germany right now, so this is just another pinpoint that backs up. We are heading into some severe cooling on the planet that's affecting France and Germany. But on the other side of Europe over there, Bulgaria and the Ukraine coming into drought right now. You have to take a look at this chart here over the last 500 years. And knowing that we're heading into an intensely deep grand solar minimum, you would expect rainfall to really start shifting on a dime right now. And what are we getting? The same intense rainfalls across Germany. It matches. And another eye-catching headline, Australia's alpine areas brace for heavy spring, record snowfalls, record cold as Antarctic blast approaches. That was about a week ago when this headline came out, showing you the GFS models of where the cold was expected. And sure enough, unprecedented snow hits parts of Australia, regions suffering the coldest September temperatures ever recorded. But then immediately the deflection begins. Yeah, there was record cold and record snow. We don't want to talk about it. The temperatures are going to climb again. Well, yeah, you're going into mid-spring, into the summer. Of course, the temperatures are going to climb again. Don't worry about it. Record snow, and don't worry. It's hot. Give more taxes. And you notice the bottom headline there about Ballarat. Snowfalls on the city, coldest spring day in 20 years. And wait, I went to the Australian Broadcasting Corporation here, ABC, and they show the exact same town with the exact same location with almost the exact same text in the story, yet the headline, coldest September day in more than 50 years. Hey, Sydney Morning Herald, trying to deflect the cold makes you look bad. You just got caught. What descriptor would you use for that headline there? Because when you look across the rest of the Australian news media, roads closed, freezing conditions grip New South Wales, Victoria, lockdown capital of the planet. Snowfall in South Australia, thick enough for spring skiing. Wow. And some images coming across the newswire here. Some of these areas just generally don't receive snow even during the winter. But what I'm talking about here in New South Wales, even in the depths of winter, it rarely snows. To get this type of snow this late in the season, it is such an outlier. But media doesn't want to discuss it. Mount Buller here, 40 centimeters is 12 to 16 inches up there. Such the shock and amazement of people around seeing this event. They're like, whoa, my mind is blown. This is not a drill. People are skiing in deep spring in South Australia. Snowfalls, hail lashing Adelaide, unusually chilly September cold snap, but Sydney Morning Herald right back at it. When you read the article, almost every single paragraph says it's warm, it's going to get warm. We're going to be basking around 27 degrees Celsius on Friday. Forget the record cold. Look into the future when the temperatures are going to warm up. Don't look at this coldest temperatures ever. Next week. Next week. In the bottom paragraph, just notice pushing gradually warming air down across the state. I encourage you to go read the article on how it's written. And nearly every paragraph has warming text in it when they're trying to cover a cold story. Just really interesting how they're gaslighting everybody here. Links in the description box below. Snowforecast.com. Obviously, I was looking at the snow forecasts and both hemispheres. Surprisingly late or early snows across both hemispheres. It is in play, this grand solar minimum. First, the Alps and the Rockies. Which do you prefer? They both have nice powder. And don't forget Australia that just got dumped on. I guess you get A, B, or C choice. But how prepared are you for the coming food price rises? As you see everywhere, it's a consolidation of power and control of the food, the food supply chains, and whoever controls that can then set the pricing. Supply chains do break down, things are not available. My Patriot Supply and Adapt 2030, the 1 week or the 4 week emergency food supply. That's a great way to support the channel. That link's also in the description box below. I do thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of the video, and I will see you next time.